The Yamaha PW50 is the quintessential starter bike for kids who are learning how to ride. Since 1981, the PW50 has not only been the bike that's helped kids learn how to ride a motorcycle, but also the starting point for countless professional motocross racing careers. A kid can begin riding as early as 3 years old and continue basically until, well, the bike isn't strong enough to carry them anymore. If your little rider is asking to go to the real track, or pushing the limits on your home track and trails, you will reach a crossroads with the PW50 to where you might want to consider making the bike a little bit more capable for racing or motocross track duty. There are several things you can do to the PW50 that maintain the bulletproof nature of the bike, but also enable it to handle the higher stresses of racing and track use by a more experienced or aggressive rider. In this video, we're going to upgrade the clutch springs to a stronger spring, which allows the engine to reach a higher RPM before the clutch engages. The stronger springs essentially hold the clutch back longer and allows the engine to be closer to the power band when the clutch does engage, which translates into faster starts and snappier performance coming out of slower turns. This is a way to maximize the on-track performance of the PW50 while maintaining the stock engine components. The process of changing out the clutch springs is a little deceiving on the PW50. It seems simple at first. We just need to get underneath the side cover on the right side of the bike to access the clutch assembly. However, you'll quickly find out that getting the side cover off on the right side is problematic because it is close to the frame rail that you see right in front of us. I started by removing all the stuff that was not allowing the engine to be shifted or rotated within the frame. I just didn't want to have to take this whole engine out. So basically I'm just pecking away at some of the stuff until I can move the engine enough to access that side cover. And yes, this even includes the rear shocks. I really dislike how manufacturers use Phillips head screws on some of these high torque side cover bolts, so I had to crack mine loose with the vice grip. Otherwise, I was able to get the rest of them off. It's worth noting here that you'll see me remove the oil drain bolt. It's probably one of the first things you should try to do. Removing the oil from the side cover is going to be a good first step on this process. Now that we got the side cover loose, how do we get it out? So this is where the frame being so close is a problem. You need to shift the engine around to where you can sneak the side cover through the frame and out of the way. Snap ring pliers are going to be necessary for this step. Removing the snap ring from the shaft and then sliding the clutch drum over the shaft and out of the way will expose your clutch assembly where the springs are. Removing the springs can be a little bit of a chore. Having a dedicated tool such as a spring pulling tool would have been helpful, which is essentially just like a little hook, but I used needle nose pliers for the removal and it was a little difficult. Now we're going to take a look at the new spring versus the old spring side by side. Not much of a difference visually, but in strength there sure is. Putting on the new springs, I employed the use of a vice grip to hold the spring tight while I slipped it over the peg. Move on to the second spring, and basically our objective here is done. Once you get both springs on the clutch assembly, you can reverse everything we've just done and start reassembling the entire clutch assembly by putting the shoe on, the snap ring, and then the side covers. I'm pretty sure the gasket that was on my side cover was a day one original from 2004, I believe, maybe 2002. Can't really remember, but all Pee-wees are the same. So get you a new side cover gasket. And whenever you're replacing gaskets, especially ones that seal oil in, you always want to make sure that mating surface is super clean and clear of any debris or old gasket material. Same goes for the mating surface on the motor itself. Pre-installing the engine gasket on the engine side of the cover is going to be the easiest way to make sure it stays in place while reattaching the side cover. The only thing to watch out for here is to make sure that gasket doesn't shift or fall out of place when you're putting the side cover back in there. The rest of the process is rather simple. Just reinstall all the hardware you removed to get the side cover out. Don't forget, if you had to remove several other components to get the cover out of its place relative to where it is on the frame, such as the exhaust and even the engine mount, be sure to put those things back into place, especially the engine mount. After you work to get everything realigned, slide that engine mount bolt all the way through and then reattach the nut. Be sure to torque it to whatever the settings are in your PW50 owner's manual. After that, the last step is to refill the transmission with the appropriate oil, which is 300 milliliters of 10W40, which you can use Yamalube essentially, or any other synthetic motorcycle oil. And that's going to do it for the video. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this helped elaborate on the process and how you can improve the performance of your Pee-wee without changing engine parts to do so. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, comment if you liked it, and even better, subscribe if you like my video. Thanks for watching. Check out my other ones on the PW50.